Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Checkride Chat. My name is Wally,
I'm Jason.
and we're going to talk about how to begin the process of scheduling your check ride. And here we have two DPEs here. We're going to have different opinions, different things that we like, but we're going to talk about the initial call up to the DPE to schedule the check ride. Jason, you get many weird calls or texts from applicants?
That is an understatement.
Yeah.
I got an app. I have a whole second phone number.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think it's fair to the family that my phone goes off 50 times an hour.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard to keep track. So I got an entirely different phone number.
Wow. Maybe I might need to do that. All right.
It's on my phone,
Yeah.
but it's an app.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I get a lot of calls or texts or emails, and maybe the potential applicant says, "Hey, call me. I want to. My name is Bob. I want to talk about a check ride. Call me."
That's not going to end well for Bob.
And quite frankly, I'm probably not going to call him back because I'm going to forget. And oh God, as horrible as this sounds, it's the whole supply and demand thing. There are not enough DPEs. We know that. So
and we sympathize with that.
Yeah,
I get
we do.
it. We do it. We both have full-time jobs.
Right.
Wives, kids, etc.
Yeah.
We come home from work and go back to work.
Right.
So
right.
we get it.
Right.
And so if you make our life easier, it just, when it comes to scheduling, by giving us we're about to tell you, the information that we want to know, I can't say your chances of getting scheduled, that's still based on our schedule, but it's much, much easier for us. There's a lot less back and forth, etc.
Yeah. If when you contact the DP right off the bat, if you give them some certain, him or her, some information that we need, there are some things that we need to know, and very basically, we need to know your name. We need to know what type of check ride you're looking for, what type of airplane the check ride is in, and that's particularly important, especially if it's a multi-engine airplane, because for us to administer multi-engine check rides, we have to have 5 hours of pilot and command time in that type of airplane. We have a lot of people that want check rides in twin Comanches. I have 0 time in a twin Comanche, so I've gotten down into the weeds with people about multi-engine check rides, and then we get down to it, and they say it's in a twin Comanche, and I go, "Oh,
yeah, I can't even do it." We almost should have started with that.
Right.
So the 5 hours PIC, I've flown a multitude of many different aircraft, but some I've never. I think I have an hour in a 310.
Right.
But I have about 300 or 400 in a 320.
Right.
They are not the same.
Right. So, we need to know the type of airplane. I like to know the flight school that you're coming from. It's not imperative, but it just kind of gives me an idea of what we're working with. And
if you've worked with them before,
right,
by knowing the school, you know what's in the plane, just based on previous experience. You know what to expect when it comes to the aircraft.
So the more information you can give up, my neighbor next door was getting a new roof the other day, and it made me look up and think, oh boy, when everybody in your neighborhood starts getting new roofs, it's probably about that time for you too. If I were going to call somebody to get an estimate on a new roof and I had to leave them a message, I would call them up. I would tell them my name, I would tell them my address, I would say I'm looking to, I'd like to get an estimate on a new roof. If you want to come by anytime and take a look at it while I'm not here, that's fine. There are no pets in the backyard or anything like that. Just come on back. But I would give them all that information. The phone call would not be, "Hey, I need to talk to you about a new roof.
Give me a call." Right. Moreover, I'm going to go Army. I'm going to go ex-military on you. When you leave your phone number, it's like a mission statement. Leave your phone number, and then I say again, well, that's an Army thing, but leave your phone number twice. Speak slowly and speak clearly.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Now, with that in mind, I think you're the same way. My preference to, as far as form of communication, I would rather get a text message than a phone call. And here's why. First of all, I do a lot of my DPE work when I'm sitting in the back of airplanes. I fly to Honolulu a lot. We have a 3-pilot crew, so I know I'm going to get about a 2-hour break in the back of a 777. I'm going to be sitting in a nice seat, and I go back there. And if I'm going to Honolulu, it's day, so I'm not sleeping usually. I'm getting work done. I log on. I pay for the internet. I get on the internet. And I am starting to do work like that. I can text from the back of an airplane. I can't make a phone call from the back of an airplane. So I can look there, and if you give me your name, the type of ride you're looking for, your FTN, I can log into IACRA, and I can see, okay, this applicant has been signed off. They were signed off 3 days ago, so we're not worried about 60 days. Their record of flight time looks to be reasonable. Yeah, we can probably make this happen. And I'm probably going to send you a text right then and say, okay, I can get you in Monday the 18th at 8 a.m. in Conroe. And we'll probably, seal the deal right there if it is a text. If it's a phone call, now I have to say, okay, when I get to Honolulu, I need to call this person back, and I may or may not, I may forget. And in the meantime,
moreover, Honolulu's 5 hours, 8 hours behind, so it could be nice, pretty during the day in Hano.
Yeah.
And it's midnight in Texas.
Yeah. And and maybe I have one slot. Well, there's a person who texted me after you called.
But you can't get a hold of the phone call.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So I prefer that. Email is probably second best.
Email second. I want text, email, and then phone call.
Yeah.
Because the text, you can search a text.
Yes.
The email, if you do send an email, in the subject line, tell us what you want.
Yeah.
Type ride and just ready now, signed off, whatever it is. And then when it comes to, and I think we're going to put on blank DMS screens, is that right?
Yes.
So I'm going to reference my little notes, but type a test. The type of the aircraft used, that needs to match what's on your IACRA. You can't say 172 or a Warrior. Well, we know the Warrior. That's a bad example. There's a 172 Alpha through Sierra at this point.
Yeah.
Which one? So that has to, whatever is on your IACRA, that's what we want to know. The date, the time, the applicant's name, the applicant's certificate number, the FTN. That the FTN doesn't go on DMS, but that's how we can go search what Wally was saying. We can see if you're signed off, any failures, where are you on when it comes to application. CFI name, insert number, what airport, which that's about to be another topic, the address of wherever the location that the test is going to be, where do you request. I like it when people come to me. It simply makes it way, way easier to schedule. Part 61 or Part 141. If it is Part 141, we need the 141 school code, right?
Yes.
That's also going to be on the application, the IACRA app. And then last but not least, it's always nice, I guess it's inherent, but the phone number. But if you're going to text all that in that order, it is much, much easier to, and this is what Wally was alluding to, you just open up a text message and we fill out from there.
Yeah.
That's the text message he's saying on a plane. I can typically respond to text messages much easier. Phone calls, you have to interrupt whatever you're doing. Text message, you can very quickly read, reply, respond. You guys all know how that works.
Yeah.
So I think text is best, email second, phone is, if need be, we're not saying don't call. What we are saying is that's probably maybe the last resort, if you will.
Yeah, and if you do call, tell us what the question is. Don't just say, hey, I've got a question about the Checkride next week and hang up. Tell me, hey, I've got a question about the cross country or whatever. Just so tell me what the question is. So if it takes research on my part, which I don't know everything, believe it or not, I do have to research some things. So tell me what the question is so I can research the answer and I can call you right back or text you right back and say, yes, we can do that because of this.
One thing on that, obviously after it's scheduled, after it's confirmed, yes, there's going to be a scenario given where I want you to plan a cross country from A to B. One thing that I've learned, I now ask, are you using ForeFlight? So I tend to give rather lengthy cross countries to force one or multiple fuel stops, etc. That's not really, I will redo my thinking if you're using paper sectionals. And if that's the case, I'll ask what sectionals do you have, and I'll make them kind of piecemeal off of that.
Yeah. No,
I'm not going to go make you buy 15 sectionals for
Right.
one day. But on ForeFlight, that's a different story.
I had that happen just a few weeks ago. A young man did everything on a paper sectional, and he did go out and buy about 4 sectionals. And
it could have saved everything. Do you have ForeFlight? Yes or no?
Yeah.
ForeFlight's made it incredibly easy.
Yes.
Tangent. We'll talk. I would love to talk about cross countries in a later episode.
Yeah.
But tangent off of the cross countries. If you are using ForeFlight, you better know how to use ForeFlight.
Yeah.
Like once you bring that to the table, it's game on.
Yeah.
So you better kind of the ins and outs of ForeFlight. It's not because the cross country is done in 3 seconds.
Right, and it's just like installed equipment. If you've got the equipment in the airplane,
gotta know how to use it.
You need to know how to use it.
Yep.
If the airplane has an autopilot, you need to know how to use that autopilot. Or if it has flux capacitor, you need to know how to use that flux capacitor.
88 miles an hour. All right.
Yeah.
So good deal. What else on that? So we're gonna throw up pictures, and literally, if you guys can text or email, very simply the answers in that order. You just made the DPE very, very happy before we even met you.
Because what I do is I've got, like most people, you probably have an iPhone, and I use the calendar in Apple, and I'll put in there, the date of the Checkride, and down in the notes, I will copy all this information, and I just put it right there. So
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So I've got it right there. The other thing that we need to know is we need to know. Obviously, if you're texting, we're going to have your phone number. But if you email, make sure you include the phone number. And I want your email address too, because I'm going to email you an actual PDF file that gives you the weight and balance information, gives you the cross-country information, because I use different cross-countries for different type check rides, and I base it on the day. If it's an odd day, you're going here. If it's an even day, you're going here. So it's not the same thing.
You still have from the ignitions.
What's that?
The ignitions.
I did.
That's a United thing.
Yeah. We have 2 ignitions, so
1 and 2 odd and even days. So
yeah.
See, you're just I got it. Either way. All right. How else do we make DPEs happy?
Well, I just think it's effective communication, and me personally, I will not even schedule a check ride until you're signed off. I've had so many people, here it is mid-November, and I'll get a call from someone say, I'd like to schedule a check ride in February. And I go, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive in February. Come on.
On that note, I know there's multiple DPEs around the country. I've heard I'm booked through August of 2026.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how that's even feasible, but more power to you.
Right.
My United schedule changes enough where we could be canceled. I do not book out. Between I'm about a 2, maybe 3 week out on purpose, because work and life unfortunately kind of get in the way. And I don't want to hinder somebody on that.
Well, the other thing, my philosophy is 2 weeks out. I don't schedule more than 2 weeks out, and it's for a couple reasons, like you said, but also a certain percentage of check rides that we start don't finish, or they don't finish successfully. So we may start a check ride with someone, and then it's time to go fly, and the wind is 180 at 21, gusting to 32, and the applicant says, I don't want to fly in this wind. And I say, good call, good call. And so we discontinue. Now, if I'm scheduled a month out, then I have to tell this young man or young woman that, okay, I can get you in 5 weeks. I would rather say, hey,
Yeah.
now, we have a little bit more flexibility when it's only half a check ride, if you will, if it's the flight only.
It is much easier to rebook
Yeah.
just the half.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think of that, but
Yeah.
that is in the mindset of why I specifically don't go out super far.
Yeah.
Because I don't want retests or discontinuances waiting
Right.
all that long.
Right. And I try to prioritize those people. If I have a discontinuance, you basically go to the top of the list. I'm gonna try to get you finished before I start a new one.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a couple of them hanging over me. And here we are. We're coming towards the winter time. The weather is maybe less favorable, at least down here in South Texas. But we both work with flight schools, and so basically what we're talking about, I refer to the individual person who maybe is using an independent CFI and they have their own airplane. I call them free agents. I'm not gonna just say, okay, I'm just gonna work with flight schools. Just to put it out there and be transparent and honest, it is a lot easier just to work with a flight school. I can go to flight school, whatever, down the road and say, okay, you got next Thursday and Friday, 2 check rides each day. And all the planning is off my plate. It's on their plate.
They do everything. They get all the information we just requested. I do check rides. I don't exclusively do check rides for 1 flight school or 2 flight schools. I'll hop around. I don't. The freelance, they're good. But again, if it's I'm totally speculating here, totally generalizing. If it's an old friend teaching an old friend and that instructor hasn't taught in 20 years, I'm not saying it's bad, but they're just not really in the know.
Well, I joke that the some of the toughest one are, my instructor is a United pilot, and right off the bat I go,
run.
run. I had one a couple years ago, and I asked the young man for his logbook endorsements, and he goes, "Oh, we did IACRA." And I said, "Well, that's good. Where are your logbook endorsements?" He says, "Well, we did IACRA." And I said, "That's great, but where are your logbook endorsements?" And he finally said, "Well, we don't need to do logbook endorsements because we did IACRA." And I said, "Well, they must have changed the rule this morning because yesterday that wasn't the rule." And so he had no logbook endorsements. And luckily, the United pilot happened to live right down the street. He called him
comes up and does it.
Yeah.
It's not the end. There's nothing wrong with freelance.
Right.
Nothing. Some of the best applicants I've had come from freelance. I guess it doesn't really matter. I was going to say some of the best come from freelance, some of the worst come from freelance.
Yeah.
But I've had some really good ones come from flight schools and really not good ones come from flight schools.
Right.
So I think that kind of defaults to the instructor. I think what we're trying to say is flight schools are, I would say for the most part, more up on the legalities.
Yeah.
Is a good way to put that.
And I think there's a support system. A CFI is going to sign something off, or he might be in IACRA and he's going, wait a minute, what? I'm not sure about this. He can probably walk down the hall and find someone and say, hey, how did you do this? Oh, well, you go in here and you do this and this and this. And so there is that support system that the freelancers may or may not have. So anyway.
It's just, and if the freelance is pumping them out monthly, that's going to be fine. If it's your one shot, that's where we're saying, which will potentially elude or go into the next segment, know what's in the FARs. It spells it out.
Right.
Make you the applicant, or if this is CFIs watching, don't just, your applicant should know how they can prove they've met the minimums
Right.
for private pilot, instrument rating, commercial pilot, etc. It's, just so on and so forth. So pull out those FARs, and here's my 3 hours of cross country. Here's my 5 hours of solo. Here's my nighttime. Here's my landings. I think another thing that we really like to see, I like to see, it's just kind of how my mind works. Try not to make me hunt to find your FAR legalities.
Exactly.
If you can tab it, highlight it, whatever it might be in your logbook, there's this, and it's boom, boom. Tab where your endorsements are.
Yeah.
Tab all your requirements for whatever rating you're going for. And that all gets into when we first meet you, when you show up for the Checkride, there's always 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of admin.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have this spelled out for us, it makes our life very, very easy. I did a commercial a month, 6 weeks ago. The guy had something like 1,500 hours. Highly, highly experienced. But his 10 takeoffs and landings to a full stop at with an operating control tower, one was 5 years ago, one was 2 years ago, one was last week. It were just peppered all over the logbook.
Yeah.
So to add to that, I'm not saying go spend money just to spend money, but if you can make one-line entries that show us those FARs,
yeah,
that is a very clean cut of, yep, it's right there. Yeah. On this day, I did this.
Yeah.
It's very, very clean.
Kind of a pet peeve of mine is signing your logbook pages as well.
I certify. Yep.
At the end of each page, you're supposed to sign that logbook. And again, this is a big technicality. But let's say the last page of your logbook, you only have 3 entries, and maybe there's 7 blank entries. But you're using one of those 3 entries to meet the requirement for this Checkride, then that page really needs to be signed. And people say, well, I don't want to sign it because they're blank. Well, you could actually cross out those blanks.
Just make it clean.
And anyway, I mean that's really technical, and that's stuff that can be fixed right there. But a lot of times applicants come to me, they don't even have their name in the logbook, and none of the pages are signed, and they've got 250 hours of flight time in there.
It's like, well, whose logbook is this?
I know.
Right?
I know.
Because there's not, the only way you can really prove it is, I guess, look at the endorsements, but the name isn't even on the front page.
I joke with them that I say I'm going to break in your car tonight. I'm going to steal this logbook, and then I'm going to put it up for sale on eBay. 250 hours of flight time for sale, and see what I can get for it. Of course, I wouldn't do that, but anyway, being a little bit facetious with that.
On that note, we'll go into. So sending us all the information that we want, it makes it very easy and very efficient for us to enter you into the designee management system, which is DMS. That'll get you the Checkride. Once you show up for the Checkride, clean entries, tab your entries, make it very evident where your FAR requirements lie. Then this is an absolute pet peeve of mine, is the endorsements. So the FAA put out advisory circular 65. I think we're up to H or J maybe. That is verbatim endorsements.
Yeah.
Simply cut and paste, or if you're going to handwrite it. I'm a sticker guy because my handwriting is horrible. I love it when people cut and paste straight off of the computer, write the person's name in, write the specifics, sign date, boom. There is zero question on that.
Right.
People start combining endorsements. I don't really see a need in that. I understand it happens, and as long as the bulk of the material is done, fine.
Yeah.
But I think doing that, I don't see a reason doing it, seeing as the FAA said, you don't even have to think. Just use these endorsements.
Right.
So that's a pet peeve of mine. Is I just like very clean endorsements.
Yeah, and to the CFIs more so, but the applicant as an examiner, we should never see anything written on the knowledge test report. A lot of CFIs go in and they endorse the bottom of that knowledge test
They
report.
think that is for reviewing deficiencies.
Right, and it is for a retest. It's for a failure.
It's only if they bust the knowledge test. So
Right.
if it's a pass, do not write on the knowledge test. That is not reviewing deficiencies. That's
Right.
not what you do.
Right.
Ooh, that's a great one. So on the knowledge test, it leaves the ACS codes. You want to really make Jason happy? Print the
Yes.
codes
Yes.
and bring them to the Checkride.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness, that is when people do that, I get so happy.
Yes.
Because I don't have to rummage through the ACS
Yes.
and find this alphanumeric code.
Right.
So it's very clean and very nice. I like to look at a sheet of paper because it just makes the oral even that much smoother.
And it's really nice for me when they do bring that in, let's say they make a whatever, but let's say there are eight codes. I can look at that and probably 6 out of those 8 I'm going to cover in my generic
Regardless.
oral
Correct.
anyway.
Correct.
So it's, like airspace, okay, aircraft performance, we're going to cover that. There might be one like, I don't know, but a question about basic med or something. I think, okay, all right, that's something that I hadn't planned on covering, but I will now because it was deficient on the knowledge test.
I don't know why, but one of the ones I've seen lately a lot is airport markings and signage.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think AOPA sent it out or something to them.
Yes.
I actually have flashcards in my flight bag for Checkrides. So if I see airport markings and signage, I will pull out those flashcards and it's go time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's things. I wouldn't normally, I think, bring up airport markings and signage unless I see that on a ride.
Yeah, I mean, and even when you just get on the airplane, you're gonna deal with that too. So you do cover that, but yeah, that is a huge thing. Just decoding those deficiencies.
It makes you just became my friend.
Yes,
very very quickly with
absolutely. And there are some I don't know if it's still around. I think it was acscodes.com.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of websites where you can just type it in. And do that. I would say last thing is be able to log into IACRA. Yes. So have your username, have your passport. Good gracious. We're going to London next week, so it's on my mind. Have your username, have your password. Said it again. Password. Have your username and password ready and available. Hell, log into it. Have it saved on your phone, on your device. This whole logbook audit and us getting to make sure you meet the requirements, it just makes it smoother every single time they need to use, say, my iPad to log into IACRA.
Yeah.
It creates a password issue. There's probably some security protocol that it just doesn't like it. So now they're resetting their password.
Right.
So have your stuff available, have it ready, make sure you can log into it.
And log in the day of your Checkride, because at some point, I don't know how often it is, but your password will expire and you're going to have to select a new password.
And inevitably, it's going to be the day of your Checkride.
It's the day of the Checkride, and I can't tell you how many times I just look over at the applicant who is just sweating, and you can see the stress level going out, and then I turn into this parental figure, tell them it's going to be okay, just calm down, and they're freaking out, and oh man, I've got to, I can't log in. So just, wake up 5 minutes earlier on Checkride day and log in.
They probably didn't sleep.
Well,
so they're going to be awake.
Probably.
On that, here's a pro note. Take your pop-up blocker off. Turn off your pop-up blocker if you have an Apple product, because the stuff will not populate when it needs to populate. And so yes, I know how to do it off by heart now. I'll say go here. Not a big deal, but there's itty bitty tidbits that make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's how to make a very good first impression on your DPE. So you'll be well liked and we'll all be in good moods. before we even start
Yeah.
and say the test has begun.
Yeah.
So those are some little tidbits and hints on how to make us how to make all of us happy,
Yeah.
really, and
Yeah.
just make the beginning aspects go
Right.
smooth.
Right. So this is episode number two.
Two.
Number one, I guess went all right. People actually watched it.
Heck yeah.
I got 2 emails from people.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh, wow.
they liked it. People have
Well,
watched
that's
it.
cool.
So hit like and subscribe down there. Again, if you've got any questions, you can email us both. Here's our emails up on the screen. Wally@checkridechat.com or Jason@checkridechat.com. You can go to the website, checkridechat.com. We, eventually want to grow the website, put more things on there. Right now, there's really not a whole lot there. But
Spread the word.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friend we are here for you.
Yeah.
So again, I guess we should always close. If you're in Conroe, CXO, stop by. They all know us here at Galaxy FBO. Or again on a United flight,
Yeah.
stop by, see if we're working it. I'm trying to do some South America stuff in December. I'm trying to get special call for Bogota, Quito, San Pedro Sula, Tegucigalpa. I'm trying to knock that out.
And I'm switching airplanes.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the 787.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I don't know when I'll go to training. And you know what I'm doing tomorrow?
What?
I'm taking a helicopter lesson. I'm going to learn how to fly helicopters.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
did when I took the job in Denver. I did a glider lesson,
Really?
and that's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
So I've been reading all about Robinson R-44. So next time I'll tell you about my helicopter lesson. Hopefully it goes well and everything. And then in the next couple of months I'll be in 787 training. So
cool.
We'll talk about all that. All right. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.